Hello and welcome. Rahul, you're watching me my YouTube channel, my talks, and if you're watching me consistently, welcome back to my channel. See, whenever I come in front of you, I want to discuss some points which can really make you aware of the latest development, whatever is happening. Because in this information age, if you have access to information, you can capitalize or you can cash in on certain opportunities which require certain information to be processed or to be used to hone your skills. Further, you can apply there, and there you can make that opportunity count for you. That is what we want. We want to change our reality. We want to have better livelihood and better livelihood standards. For that, certain money should inflow in our account. If you have opportunity to cash in on, if you have opportunity to make more money, you can certainly be able to change your reality. That is what we want. We want to foster a better livelihood for our own self. And those who don't have access to better financial standards, they perish. That is what is the reality. We have conditioned our world in monetary values, and that is what we have to understand. And if we really want to be better, if we really want to sustain and to grow, we have to be pragmatic, be practical. That is what is the reality. So many things are happening. If you want to leverage money, then you have to understand exactly how banking system functions, and how you can raise money through market or banks. If you want to get credit, you should have knowledge of that, what you have to maintain in your balance sheet, and how you have to approach banks. If you have some collaterals to offer, how you can offer to leverage maximum working capital or term loans for your business. And if you have more and more knowledge, then only you can start a private venture, and you can approach private equities, or private venture companies, who can invest in you more. An angel investor can invest more and can raise your company valuation. And once it will be raised, you can certainly know that when it will be enlisted, you can raise money from public. So privately run company could be public enterprises as well. So if you really want to have all this knowledge, you have to be someone who can be intention, who can have an intention to leverage money, to know exactly how to run businesses. But most of the time, if we really want to lead our country, something should have in our instrument, government instrument, how to build infrastructure, how to develop our nation, how to make our civilization better to afford these things. Because most of the people in India, they are, even if they are literate, they are not having financial literacy. They are not having that standard that they can understand. If you really want to start a business and something happens, some credits are happening in your business, and suppose you're not giving prior information to the bank or the financial institution of government, then they're putting hold. So they are not giving any access to you that you can leverage all this money, because unseen credit can happen. Businesses may happen very fast, and if credit is happening in your bank account, and you don't have perception of that, because you don't have time to give information to your bank previously. If you're not providing information, they are putting hold on that. So these kind of things is really bad practices, because people in RBI who are just putting these laws in front of the people, they are administrative kind of people, and nowadays they are turning into taking businesses in their own hand, and they don't understand exactly how to make it function, because businesses functions on little networks, and little talks, little deals, that can give motivation to business entrepreneurs. When the money will flow in their account, then only they will be able to use that, as money to build their work in progress or their stocks, and then later on they can sell, because businesses run on little margin. And if you are making people, administrative people into controlling businesses, or if you are making MSMEs leadership in the hand of Jitan Ram Maazi, such kind of illiterate politicians, how they will lead our country? They don't have understanding that they are closing schools, and not disseminating knowledge to them, they're not getting access to little poor people who can have access to better schools. They're closing the schools in various areas. So 70% are the village area in our India. So how you can make our people of literate? So you have to make them literate first of all. Let them having basic education. Once they will have, you have to give those infrastructure where they can have knowledge about businesses. They can have knowledge about financial literacy. And once they will have access to all the information, they can apply their mind and they can build the nation. Because education is something that can transform the reality of a country within 10 years. It will transform the country if you are giving better education to all the people across your country, they will certainly be able to transform. They will be able to do everything on their own. They will be able to build the nation. That is what you have to understand. And if you keep them poor and illiterate, its impact will be very bad. Your society will be corrupt. Your people, even the leaders, their generation, if they will sustain here, they won't be able to reside here because the society will turn into evil. That is what is the reality, and they are not understanding how let the businesses run, how they are giving every checkpoints, digital check, because they have got this only one instrument, digital transaction. Because of the NPCI and Aadhaar enablement, they have got some certain tools, to map all the transactions and give you identity, digital transaction. Even these digital transactions, are being monitored, on those platforms, on those operating systems, which are owned by different companies, foreign companies, alien companies, American companies. So if you are not, building certain tech systems of your own country, on infrastructure, if you're not building certain companies who can make, because many of pro tech savvy people are living here still, they can build these companies, but you're not providing them that right environment so that this company can build Android, so that those company can build apps, so that those company can build, better applications running on their own operating system. So you're not building these companies. At least previous time, 15 years ago, Wipro, SCL, Infosys, TCS, they were built in previous government time. They still exist, but they are not able to build these software, which are really are running the country, because they're not able to be operating system either on computer, either on classical computer, or even any mobile system. They are not able to create their own operating system, which is only can be built. It is not a huge task. They are not Government is not providing the infrastructure, the facilities to build these rivals. Maybe they are compromised. Maybe they don't have a vision in visioning the country in right directions. If they will have their own softwares and their own operating system, what will happen? You'll be reliant, self-reliant. What will happen tomorrow if these alien companies will take away the resources and they will enforce their legalities that because of their inventions they're just putting these restrictions on your country? You will not be able to access all this. Your country will go in others' hand. So why don't you understand the basic needs? What are the importance of the country? Why don't you understand exactly that first of all you have to build this tech infrastructure, these companies which can have access to their own resources, to their own digital resources that can provide services to all the nation, to all the country's people. And once the people will be educated, once they will be having knowledge how to bring all these financial knowledge into right structure, then putting all the legalities first, is not sustainable. Legalities should come after the infrastructure should have been built. You're not building the infrastructure, you're putting legalities all the time. So these are the barriers that they don't have perception how to run the country. They know exactly how to put restrictions, how to blacklist people, and that is what they believe in. Even the intelligence, I call them Pandit intelligence, not the real kind of analytic beings that can certainly transform the country, because their impact is nowhere seen, because they are not having that kind of take standards that can, mental standard. First of all, mental standard ethics should be built on certain standards that can transform their vision. First of all, if they don't have vision, they don't have understanding, they don't have virtues, how can they make the moral compass to drive the nation? They're just putting legalities in wrong directions and putting all these restrictions on people. Even GST, okay, it is okay to impose taxes, but if you're putting taxes to all the entrepreneurs, who are the building blocks of this nation, first of all, you give them exactly facilities, ease of access, so that they can build their business. Later on, the tax will be imposed, will be taken up. You think that tax is your personal liberty. First of all, it should be enforced. And then the businesses should be built. Otherwise, let them collapse. Your priority is your priority. This is not the way to run the country. You have to build your country first of all. Then only you can do something better. And that is what we'll have to understand. All these illiterate people in power, once they will transform their own vision, then only they can apply the changes in society. And once the society will be transformed, the whole country will transform. But first of all, we have to find these basic resources, better reliability on our own resources, on our own standards. That is what we have to identify. Previous 14 years, nothing has been built. Now, no tech companies have taken initiative to build their own OS, operating system, or any kind of Android-based better or Windows-based better applications. What has been the legality? What have been the difficulties? Because of not providing certain infrastructure. not providing the financial assistance. If you really want to build, if you really want to invest in your future, in the in the country's future, you have to think something different. Build certain, hire people, bring that kind of people, bring company, bring people in places, bring that system processes that can build this infrastructure, and bring that legality which can enforce. If you're not able to enforce these legalities in your own country because you're fearing the other companies who are mammoth, who are alien, then you will never be able to build your own country. You'll never be able to build your own country. That is what is the terrifying. You don't even understand exactly where our country is going, and you are dividing your own societies and polarizing people all together on little things. So this would never happen. They have to change their own reality. Then only the country will grow. Thank you for listening to me.